So the kids who attend Chicago public schools don't have it easy. They live in one of the most violent and crime-ridden places in the country. As of November 1st, 678 people had been murdered in the city, outpacing the murder rate from 2020, which was itself historically high. Homelessness is also on the rise, along with drug abuse and nearly every marker of societal disintegration. The poverty rate in Chicago is 20%. These dire conditions can be felt in the school system itself, where the violence from the street often spills into the hallways and the classrooms, as you might expect. The schools are so infected and surrounded by violence that many students are scared to walk home at the end of the day. Earlier this year, two 15-year-old students at one Chicago school were shot and killed in separate shootings on the same day near the school they attended. This is what it's like to attend class inside a war zone, basically. Academically, Chicago schools are subpar at best. Their elementary-age students are below the national average in both math and reading. The situation is so bad that the school system brags about a graduation rate of only 82%, also considerably below the national average. Granted, it's an improvement from the catastrophic 60% graduation rate of 2007, but still not very good. All in all, suffice it to say that Chicago public schools have problems, major problems. And they aren't focused on solving any of them. Instead, the district has set inclusivity as one of its primary goals. And it most especially wants to impose inclusivity in the bathrooms. Now, as a normal and sane person, you have probably been inside hundreds of public restrooms and never once thought to yourself that the environment needed to be more inclusive. It's likely that you have never looked around and said, I really wish there was a more diverse array of people peeing alongside me. You may take note of many other improvements that can be made inside any particular public restroom, most of them hygiene and sanitation related, but diversity and inclusivity were probably not among them. But the Chicago public school system, like so many other school systems, is not run by people like you. It's run by weirdos and predators and perverts who have never met a heteronormative, quote unquote, arrangement that they don't want to dismantle. And that's why the district announced this week that all bathrooms in all of its schools at every grade level will be made gender neutral from henceforward. They proudly released a video where Cami Pratt and Deb Spraggins, their top Title IX officers and chief groomers, announced the change. Let's watch this.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cami Pratt, the district's chief Title IX officer.
And I'm Deb Spraggins, the district's deputy chief Title IX officer. The new school year is off to a strong start as we've welcomed our students back to our school buildings 5 days each week.
On top of ensuring that each of our schools is a safe learning environment, we're also taking steps to create more inclusive and supportive schools. One change that will be implemented this school year relates to our school bathrooms. In compliance with new federal guidelines, all CPS students and staff will have fair and equitable access to bathroom facilities that align with their gender identity. We will be providing all schools with updated signage that makes our bathrooms more inclusive. It will identify the fixtures available in each restroom and make it clear that all restrooms are open for use by anyone who feels comfortable. Staff will continue to have staff-only restrooms available to them. This is an incredibly important step to increase gender equity for all, which is why we will be requiring all schools to post this signage by December 1st of this school year. Our district's Office of Student Protections and Title IX is also working on a long-term plan to create more permanent signage for our bathrooms.
I encourage you to visit our website at cps.edu/OSP to learn more about our comprehensive approach to creating more inclusive, equitable, and safe schools. If you have any questions, you can email us at osp@cps.edu.
We look forward to having a safe and successful school year at every school in every neighborhood across Chicago. Thank you.
And to make the dystopian feel, the dystopian theme, to make it complete, of course, we have in the video footage of kids walking around with masks on their face. The signage on the bathrooms will read Boys Plus and Girls Plus with a note indicating that, quote, all who feel comfortable are welcome to use this restroom. This, of course, does not take into account the fact that for most well-adjusted people, their comfort level in the bathroom depends on who else is allowed to use it. Most girls feel comfortable using the girls' restroom because there will only be girls inside it. These girls will not feel comfortable if anyone else if anyone else who feels comfortable, regardless of sex, is allowed to join them. The upshot is that normal girls with a normal desire for privacy and safety will not feel comfortable anywhere now in Chicago public schools. There's no restroom for them to use. For the sake of providing comfort to the tiny minority of gender nonconformists, the comfort of everybody else must be sacrificed. For normal girls, that is, cis girls, as they're now called, in an effort to marginalize normalcy, the signs ought to simply say, "Go to hell, we don't care about you." Because after all, that is the message. Well, if you're looking for the perfect gift for the holiday for yourself or someone else, get these Kamikoto knives. These knives are perfect. They're beautiful. They feel great. You probably should not hold 3 in your hand at one time, but I will. Don't do this at home, kids. I'm an expert. Kamikoto taps into more than 800 years of traditional techniques from Honshu, Japan. Each Kamikoto knife goes through a rigorous 19-step process that takes several years from start to finish to complete. Because of their single bevel edge, Kamikoto knives can achieve an unbelievably sharp edge that you can't get with other knives. They can cut through your ribeye like butter, and they're also lightweight. They work perfectly. Kamikoto knives are used by several chefs working at Michelin star restaurants, and when you get these knives, you can really tell why. So go click the link below or go to kamikoto.com/Matt Walsh and use promo code Matt Walsh to save an extra $50 today. This is not about comfort, generally speaking, and it's not about being inclusive or tolerant. If the policy was motivated by those desires, I'd still oppose it, because inclusivity, tolerance, and comfort cannot be the overriding concerns in a bathroom or really anywhere else in life. But as it happens, those are not the concerns here at all. As always, the predators and groomers are using these nice-sounding words as window dressing for their true agenda. In this case, the real point is to institute a social hierarchy where the desires of the Uber victims, those in the LGBT camp, especially trans people, are placed explicitly above the needs of those who are their inferiors. Normal girls and boys are punished for being normal. These are basically punitive measures. These punitive measures have, by design, a sort of if you can't beat them, join them effect after a while. Kids are so immersed in gender ideology, so subject to its commands, even in bathrooms, that eventually they're worn down and they learn to accept it and then, after a while, embrace it. You've probably already taken note of the timing of this bathroom policy change in Chicago. It comes directly on the heels of a major national scandal in Loudoun County that we uncovered here at the Daily Wire, where a girl was brutally raped inside a girl's bathroom by a boy in a dress. Now, some on social media have said that they can't believe that Chicago would instate this policy in spite of what happened in Virginia. But they're wrong. Chicago is not doing this now in spite of the Loudoun County scandal. They're doing it now because of that scandal. The groomers and predators and brainwashers of children are not backing away in shame because that happened. They certainly won't change course out of any concern for the safety of children. They don't care if kids are raped in the bathroom. They don't care. They only care if the raping becomes inconvenient to the trans agenda. The well-being of children is not a priority at all. It does not factor into the equation. They don't think about it. And that is not an exaggeration. I guarantee you in Chicago, when they were coming up with this policy and talking about it, no one even said, well, are we worried about girls, their well-being? I mean, are we worried about their safety? Well, what if they end up getting abused or raped in the bathroom? That's not an issue. They don't care. What matters is that every aspect of student life conforms with the demands of leftist ideology and especially gender ideology, and any amount of suffering is a worthy trade towards that end. That's why Chicago is doing this now. They're doubling down. They're sending a message to the domestic terrorists, i.e. parents who value their children's safety and well-being. And the message is, your kids are ours. We own them. We will do what we want with them and to them. I said before that Chicago isn't focused on addressing the violence and chaos in its schools. And that's true, but I should mention that they did announce this year a new plan, what they call a healing-centered framework to help kids cope with trauma related to violence, COVID, and other struggles. It's not clear what this will entail exactly, but we do know that it will cost $25 million, whatever they do with it. I wonder if the girls who will now be abused, raped, harassed, and accosted in the school's bathrooms will have access to those healing-centered services. Something tells me they will not. because their trauma doesn't count. Just like their feelings and their comfort and their privacy doesn't count. It all must be sacrificed on the LGBT altar. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.